Hernandez is here, and Tweet Crafts is here. Let me put this up just a little bit. Sorry. Hello, everybody. If you guys are here, we would love to know that you're here so we can wish you a happy Sabbath. I had to remember what day it was for a minute. So hello.
My color looks funny.
Copperhead is there. Hello, Copperhead.
Hello, Copperhead Road. I won't say your real name.
He said you could call him whatever.
No, he said don't.
Well,
he said now that he works for the FBI, we can't do that.
Oh, I see. Hello, Copperhead. It's me and my family. Yes, see, I told you.
Daniel is his alias.
Oh. And then Hernandez family, hello, it's a CIA. Oh, that's fantastic.
Thanks for coming by.
Hello, Josh.
Hello, Josh Wallers. I don't believe I've seen you on here before. Thanks for joining us. It's good to have you. We have been running these live streams from about 4 to 5 o'clock on Central Standard Time, Sundays. I think we've done 3 in a row now at that time slot, and that seems to be working for us and most other people. So we're going to stick to that as far as we know. You got to come in a little bit more.
And then let me know how the audio is, guys, because I just noticed that I forgot to bring the speaker.
The
mic.
Yeah, we have a external mic, and we didn't hook that up. Hello, Jesse Conrad.
Hello, Jesse. And then all the Hernandezes are there, all the little ones. So hello to you guys.
There we go. That's good.
Yeah.
We'll stay in the frame.
Yeah.
Hello.
So that one
Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez.
And there's all the kids, and this is hello, Thea and Theo.
It's good to see him on here. 28-17. Tampa Bay is up.
Oh, is that what that means? I was trying to decipher if that was some kind of like coding.
Yeah, we're setting up the live stream and taking a thumbnail picture. And we went back to check on the score, and it was halftime. And we came back in here to finish setting up. So thanks for that update, Jesse. That's good to know. First live stream with you. Well, thanks for being here, Josh. Our grow zone is 6B. We're in Southern Kentucky. Southern Kentucky. We're about 30 minutes from the Tennessee border. So we actually have an event, appointment meeting that we're looking forward to this week. Does the video seem kind of hazy? Like
it's
you see
because
right
you
in
put
here?
it down. If you put it
Is
back
that
up.
what it is?
Yeah. See?
Ah, she knows a lot of things. You might look at her and think, she's just a little lady.
As long as I'm your lady. The geese are flocking east.
That's code for something. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, our appointment this week. We contacted a guy about 2 weeks ago who was in Crossville, Tennessee. I'm going to try and make a video of our visit to him on Tuesday, so 2 days from now. This guy's in Crossville, Tennessee. He's into permaculture. I think he has like 40 plus acres, and he does a whole bunch of propagating and growing different perennials. So he sells bare root plants. We're mainly after like berries, currants, hazelnuts, chestnuts, that kind of stuff. All those perennial fruit and nut bearing plants. He's also got comfrey. I've been having a hard time finding comfrey locally. I know that Daniel at Copperhead Road offered me some comfrey, but I haven't been able to get up there. Copperhead Road is near Paducah, Kentucky. Is that right?
Kentucky? Yeah. I had to think there for a minute. You said Kentucky in a way that was kind of italic, also. But before we do that, so the Andersons are here. Hello, Andersons. And then Jesse's at Girlie's house. So hello, Gomez's.
Oh, cool. Hello, sister. Hello, other people there. I don't want to name everybody off in the house. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So yeah, Daniel was saying yes, sir. So we need some of those. So you have been looking and doing research on where to find plants to put you back on track. So we have this appointment on Tuesday, and we were actually supposed to go before.
Mm-hmm. We're supposed to go before, but the guy, we set it up. I think it was like I called him like on a Monday. I usually do a lot of my Craigslist searching on the weekends when I'm not real busy. So I called him on the Monday. Or no, he didn't have a phone number. I sent him an email. He called me, or he sent me an email, gave me his phone number, and then I contacted him. I said, "Can we come today?" He said, "No, it's a little too soon, and I'm trying to put together a big order." And then he said, "Why don't you come tomorrow?" So it was like Tuesday of 2 weeks ago. And then he started digging up plants to put together for that order that he was going to ship out, because he does some online sales and ships plants. And then he's like, I can't even get these plants out of the ground without tearing the plants up because the ground is so frozen. And so then he said, you know what, let's just postpone this, and I will give you a call, and I'll let you know when I can start pulling plants out again. So then he contacted me, I think it was on Friday, and said, hey, why don't you come out next week, because the ground's looking good and the temperatures have gone back up again. Copperhead said, what is this place and where is it? So it's located in Crossville, Tennessee, which is about, I think it's about 20 minutes outside of Nashville. I Googled it. It's about 2 hours from us, and it's not an official nursery. Actually, the guy said he was near, I want to say McMinnville, but I don't think that's right.
Uncle Jesse wanted you to say hi. Jesse? Yeah, Uncle Jesse is there with
The Gomez's are on?
Yeah, the Gomez's are
Your cousins are on. They're watching. Why don't you poke your face in there?
Say hello.
Hello, Gomez's. I'm sitting on. What am I?
So, and then Brian's here. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Hey,
Hello,
Brian.
Katie, William, and Auntie Keisha.
So, Caspian, Uncle Jesse wants to know, where are you guys? So explain to the people, where is it that you're at during the live stream and why you don't come in here? So I'll answer for him because he's giving me this squinty
eye. His hair looks even longer because he's got that black.
Hello, Perma Pastures in here. So hello. What's up, gang? And Allison, hello. Look at Allison saying hello to you, Mama.
Hello.
So the kids get a little shy, and Caspian in particular is like, I don't like it. I don't like going over there. I feel awkward. So we told him it is an option for them. They're not obligated. A lot of it's because we don't want them to feel like they have to perform for us. Like there are little show ponies. And so we said to them, you have the option of coming or not. And they usually choose not to.
I was just out there playing with the rattles, shooting solo cups.
So that's what he was doing. Apparently he's leaving. So hello, Anna at 4-Day Homestead. They just popped in. So hello.
Hey, Billy with Perma Pastures Farm. Good to see you on here. Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it.
Also, Copperhead was mentioning that they are about 3.5 hours from them.
3.5 hours from me. Oh, cool. Yeah, so Daniel, I'll let you know when I get there. Like I said, I want to do a video of it. Caspian brought in his Nerf gun.
It's a rifle. They shoot little orange bullets, and it's a 4-barreled. And this is the helmet that I use. We antiqued it. Auntie Leisha knows what I mean. And these are
they went antiquing.
Yeah, You gotta show them what you did for your little shield. Show them the other side. So that's a bucket lid.
It's a bucket lid, and we drilled a handle on it so I don't get hit with rivals.
So here's David. David, say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Auntie Alicia and the
Hello,
boys are
people.
there, along with Miss Allison and a lot of other homesteaders. So for those of you guys that don't know, these are our little kiddos. So this is David and this is Caspian.
There's only boys in our. I'm joking.
No.
Boys out there.
William says hi.
Hello, William. Hello, William.
So yeah, so going back to what we were saying earlier. So
Did we say hi to Anna at 4-Day Homestead?
Yes, we did.
Sorry.
No,
Hello,
you're fine.
Anna.
Hello. And then,
Hello.
yeah, and then Allison came in, and so we were saying hello to Allison. So then, yeah, the guy contacted you, and the ground had actually been really frozen. I remember it was like it was during a cold freeze here. We had a couple days in a row that it went below freezing.
William, I will find you.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So it was freezing. So then we were scheduled to go. He offered for us to go either Monday or Tuesday, but it was supposed to be raining today and tomorrow, and so we decided not to be driving in the rain. And so, yeah, the Anderson Homestead, they're saying hello to you.
Hello, Anderson Homestead.
We're like at the bottom half of the screen.
I remember.
So, I mean, the only other, I don't really know another way to fix that. We could do that some other time.
Yeah, we'll have to adjust
When I was going out, William, I remember when we were over there, you had a bow, and then I just.
So why don't you guys FaceTime your cousins later, okay, baby? And show you guys can compare weaponry then.
Weaponry.
Yeah, don't come back in here.
I won't.
You can't keep jumping in and out. You're messing up our flow. All right.
Wave this flag. I'm doing.
That boy's gonna get hurt. Yeah, so
Copperhead can relate.
oh yeah.
He's been there.
Anybody who's ever seen a kid anywhere can relate.
Yeah, that's true.
These little rascals.
Lose train of thought. You're like, I'm going somewhere. No, I'm not. Getting off track here. So yeah, this guy is actually really unique though because he does a lot of organic stuff. And you're the one that read the description. Do you want to go into that more or no?
Yeah, the guy that we're going to visit that has this nursery, he doesn't do a lot of large scale stuff yet. He's just starting out. And he actually said that this was the first time he had posted on Craigslist. So he's not very big. He doesn't even really have he doesn't have like a nursery name or anything. He just does it on the side. Hello, MB Heritage Farms.
Yes, hello.
Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Anna says, I'm in the northern part of Wisconsin, right along the shore of Lake Superior. Township is Walla. Ulo. Cool. That's good to know.
Yeah.
You guys must be under snow. This must be pretty cold up there in Wisconsin. Hey, it's Jason Avers.
Hello, Jason.
Hey, Jason, thanks for coming in. We're going to be talking seeds a little bit. That was kind of our fallback. Of course, our preference is to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, because last week we started talking about chickens, and that's not something that we had originally planned on talking about. But at the end, it was really neat, and it's nice when we get to like have more of a conversation, and that's really neat. Alicia says that it's hailing in Tucson.
That's pretty uncommon.
Yeah, it is.
Got cold enough. It's kind of a coincidence. Two things happen at the same time. Cold and rain, which is kind of uncommon in Tucson, Arizona. So we're gonna get some currants, comfrey. I have a whole list of stuff. I'll be sure to make a video of it, even if I don't record on site because I don't get permission to do that, which usually most people don't care. But I will make sure that I'll make sure that I post a list of what I picked up there. He said he has some hybrid hazelnuts and chestnuts that he's gotten from Twisted Tree in New York that he's had a lot of success with there where he's at. You know, one thing that I do want to mention, if you're getting seeds and you can find them more local, it's better because they have a history in your climate, in your
zone.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm turning down the heater. It's burning my leg up in here. Yeah, Jason, that's a little hoard that we have. We actually made a video of a bunch of seeds. I think we got like, must have been 70 seeds from Baker Creek. Baker Creek kind of makes their stuff unlike anybody else. They got those big old words on them. And this one talks about the germination rate on it. But we got a bunch of, the majority of those seeds back there are seeds that we got before last planting season. So we probably ordered these in like February of 2020. And we ordered more than we thought we would use. And we kind of planned on, I even said right when I got them and I was making the video that we don't plan on using a lot of the seeds. So actually, let me show you some of the seeds that we did plant this year. As you can see, this is a very small
Percentage.
very small portion of them. So here's some beets that we planted, and we actually still have some of these. We harvested about half of them. So initially we planted about, I think it was about 20 plants, and we harvested about 10 of those. When they came ready, you know, they were probably about the size, a little bit bigger than a golf ball. That's usually when beets are the most tender, right in that area. But I left half of them in to see how long they would go and how they would do through the winter. Beets tend to have a pretty good cold tolerance. So they're still in the ground. I just pulled one out a couple days ago just to see if the beet itself was still edible. And like the top portion of it, probably the top, I would say 3/4 of it like had rot in it, and then the bottom quarter of it was still all white. These ones are real neat because they have that like a spiral effect into them. Most beets are solid. They're usually a solid red, a real dark burgundy red, kind of like that right there.
I was surprised of how cool that looked though. When you cut it open, it really didn't look like that.
Yeah. And they're a lot bigger. Like this is when they're like golf ball size right here. But these ones that I pulled out, they were probably, the one I pulled out the other day was about the size of a softball. So the reason that I left them in, one of the reasons was so that we could get seeds out of them. So just as a, you know, there's people on here that don't know this information. So we're going to share some information. If you already know, well, I'm sure you appreciate it anyway. So, you know, just like in the name, Baker Creek heirloom seeds, these are a type of seed that's known as an heirloom seed. So you have heirlooms and hybrids. You also have a GMO or modified seeds. But the thing that's good about the heirloom seeds is that they produce true to type. So as long as you haven't cross-pollinated them and introduced another variety, like if we had another type of beet that we were growing next to it, while it was in its flowering cycle, then we wouldn't, as long as we didn't have that cross pollination, we wouldn't have any issues with getting true to type plants in the future. So the difference in that is, and I'll grab something else over here. So like this is a seed that is I just picked this up at Walmart. This is a dwarf gray sugar. I'm not sure if it says a hybrid on here. I'm looking for the word hybrid. And
we did get did I see Bryce Mosier came in?
Oh, this actually says right on here, this heirloom. So this is an heirloom seed. Sorry.
You're fine. And then Jason mentioned that the land race is a term for the climate adapted seeds. So that's something I learned today. Land, that's what it says, raised. While he's digging. So hello for those of you guys that have joined. And then Anderson, I will actually pass on the wording for David to jump on the trampoline. He'll be really happy. And I know that you're texting me that you have bad connection. So we're glad that you're still here, though.
So a hybrid seed, I actually can't find any. I usually don't buy hybrid seeds because I like the ability to keep planting them year after year. When I was in Tucson, Arizona, I actually had beets that had gone to the second year, and that's when they went into their seed phase. So I collected some seeds from them and then planted them again. I didn't bring any here, but so when you take a hybrid has basically crossed, and it's not true to type. So if you take a hybrid and you plant that seed, say it's a tomato, like there's a ton of hybrid Roma tomatoes. So if you take that and then you take the fruit, you take the seed out of that fruit, when you go to plant that, you're not going to get the same thing as the parent plant because the genetics have been mixed. So like, just to give you an example as generic as I can without being terribly politically incorrect, if you had a dark person and a light person and they bred, and you had, a middle colored person, and then that child, once it had children, you can't guarantee that it's going to have that same middle colored trait to it. It's more likely than not that it's going to show a trait of one of its parents, one or the other. So, and there's that color trait is just one of the traits. Like in a plant, you could have like the thickness of the tomato skin. You could have the amount of seeds. You could have the density of the flesh. You could have, how much water content is in it. How rot resistant is it, as far as to what they call end rot, how drought tolerant is it. So these are all traits that in hybrid seeds that these manufacturers are breeding these positive characteristics into them. But the only negative to that is you're not going to guarantee that for future generations from those hybrid seeds. Not to say they're bad. I have hybrid seeds. Like I said, you're not going to get the same true to type plant year after year. So there's the hybrid versus heirloom explanation. And a lot of this is not to necessarily like to give you like, oh, this is the exact science behind this. This is just to basically share information so that you know, a lot of people don't know. They just pick up a seed packet and they just say, oh, those are beets. And then they don't realize that there's a difference. It's just to bring awareness that there is a difference, not even to really explain it with like a true definition. So just be aware that when you're buying seeds, there are different types of seeds. Jason Avers says F1 hybrids will produce seeds that might produce genetics like one or the parent plant that produce them, the grandparents, and might produce like themselves 20, 25, 50%. So yeah, so that's the probabilities of that. I think it takes about 5 generations of staying on top of seed selecting genetics to finally get a stabilized hybrid. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with it, we're just trying to bring some awareness to it. Like I said, I'm not trying to completely explain the science behind it. Josh says, I overwintered my first biennials this time around. Looking forward to some seed saving I never done before. Yeah, so a lot of things. I know that some carrots are biennials, which means that you plant them and then you actually won't get seeds till the second year. So that's what I've experienced so far with these beets. Another thing we planted, and this was a Caspian's choice, was peanuts, and this is a Tennessee red. Those actually we left some of those in the ground. We pulled out about 75% of them just to eat them, and we ate most of them raw. We only planted like I think it was 3 or 4 plants just to experiment with them, and there's still a lot in here. There's probably still 20 more seeds in here.
Jason wrote, ooh, peanuts.
Ooh, peanuts. Yeah, you can grow peanuts. So these are, and these did really well. They probably got about 2 feet high. They had about a 2-foot diameter. Let's see what it says here. Plant spacing 6 to 8 inches apart. I'd give them, well, for us, they got a little bit bigger than that.
Daniel wants to know how they tasted.
They were good. You know, if you've never eaten a raw peanut, I'd kind of equate that to like actually if you've had roasted salted peanuts and you don't close the bag up and you live anywhere there's humidity, you know, the peanut gets soft because it's absorbing moisture out of the air. It has that type of texture, so it's not crunchy like a roasted peanut, but it doesn't have that like nasty taste of like a salted peanut that's, you know, it's just kind of like, it's not good.
So Anna Forte had mentioned a little bit earlier, oh, there it is, come and visit us. So we would love to go visit you. She mentioned earlier that she didn't have a computer, so that's one of the reasons why she didn't have any videos posted. So we would love to come and visit you, though.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
She's enticing us.
Yeah.
Check out waterfalls, stone cliffs, and do some kayaking. It's cold and snowy now.
We'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, we're into all those kind of things.
I'm the cheerleader. Usually like, go. What are they called? The people that videotape?
The paparazzi?
No, not paparazzi. Videographer?
Videographer, yeah.
Yeah, that's usually who I am.
Well, keep moving. I'm going to have to keep moving the camera.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
The peanuts, I actually never tasted any. So, Daniel, I know you had asked. I never tasted any because I never made it in, as well as like strawberries. Unfortunately, when they find something that if you're there in the moment, they would eat it together and they're like, yay. And then stuff never made it into the RV or wherever I was. So sad for me.
Yeah, we grew a lot of stuff this year, or I should say last spring, on a lot of small quantities. Unlike, you know, the sweet potatoes was probably sweet potatoes, pumpkins. What else did we grow in large quantities? Asparagus. A lot of those things that we grow in small quantities, if you're not out in the garden when they get to the right size, and you can eat it out in the garden, and they get eaten by the gardeners.
Yeah, Daniel's saying that the kids eat theirs too.
Yeah, if you let your kids, the kids are like, yeah, we found some strawberries out there. Oh, cool. I remember planting strawberries. I wish I got to eat some.
Yeah, like peas. I love snap peas. I don't know why I love them. And before I never liked them, but I went to the garden a couple times and I got some. And then like I saw a little hoard. Like I'm gonna come back to this because there's some really nice snap peas. I came back, they were all gone. Guys ate them.
Yep, that's what's gonna happen. That's a good thing though.
Yeah.
So hopefully this year we'll plant quite a bit more. Yeah, this last year, 2020, was more of an establishment type year for us.
Experimental too, to see what.
And we didn't get a head start with any greenhouse preparation. So a lot of these plants, we're going to try and get into the greenhouse at least 1 month ahead of our last frost date. And our last frost date, it says, is May 20th. But last year we had a frost like the last week of May, and it said our last frost date last year was May 15th.
So Josh was saying that he needs a videographer, and I'm sorry, that was Jason. And then Josh said that he wondered if we could grow them in a Ruth. What does that say?
Grow in what?
Josh grow them in a Ruth.
Oh, Ruth stout bed like potatoes. I think he's talking about the peanuts. I don't see why not. Ruth stout is like with hay or straw. I actually did an area and made a video on it with potatoes, and these were actually potatoes that I picked up when I was looking for my chicken scraps in my grocery dumpsters. And I found at one point, I found a bunch of these green potatoes that were non-GMO organic potatoes. And I just put out a patch. I think it had like 30 or 40 pounds of potatoes in there. And then the blackberries came up, and the blackberries took over. I'm actually thinking I put the sheep in that area to kill off the blackberries, but they didn't completely take them out, so I can't really get in there. But I'm thinking if I start digging in that area, that they'll come up again.
So Bryce was asking, how big of an area is the garden?
The garden is, and this is just our designated market garden area. We grow in a lot of different spaces, but we have like a designated market garden area, and that is 100 feet by, let's see, I think it's like, I want to say 50 feet. We have 6 30-inch beds that are 100 feet long. But we have space within that fenced area to add 2 more of those beds. We made it a little larger. That's just our designated garden area. And actually, we just planted out a bunch of the strawberry runners to take over what would equate to 1 full row. So we really only have 5 beds left over.
He's been peppering them everywhere. So hello, Eric.
Hey, Eric. Good to see you. Where are you located, Eric? I noticed we just got connected to your channel. Eric does a lot of cooking, and he did a really cool video that I just watched. I believe it was yesterday, on like a homemade stove out of clay, like a mortar. It was almost like a rocket stove. They could use really small sticks, and they were showing cooking a dish on that. He's in Trinidad. Oh, cool. Well, it's good to have you here, Eric.
Yes,
thanks for stopping by the live stream. I appreciate it.
And if you guys see me like squinting and like looking over there and I don't see all the words, it's because like after a while they become kind of a blur. So it's Eric. So Copperhead and Anderson mentioned that they're in the learning phases as well. Lifelong learners, yes.
Let's see, there was some other comments up there. Anderson said we should always be learning. Jason said we got our last frost over Easter weekend last year. I already had my seedling tomatoes and peppers. Oops. So they probably got whacked, which yeah, a lot of those hot weather plants like that, if they get hit by that frost, they don't make it out. So I don't know if how many of you have watched our sweet potato video, but I actually put in a bunch of, got deleted. I put in a set of sweet potato starts of the slips that I got from a local greenhouse, and they all froze back. And so I thought they were dead. So I went and I bought another set and waited 2 more weeks. So then I double planted them, which is one of the reasons our sweet potato harvest was so big, is because we had twice the plants.
And I know that a couple of people have asked, like, what have you been doing with the massive amount of sweet potatoes? We have been using them. We did quite a bit of dishes with them. I treated them almost like regular potatoes. And then other times I treated them more like a dessert, which is really neat because it was like a universal. You can do either or. You can do either a dessert or you can just have it like a regular potato.
Yeah, we're storing them right now in the workshop, which is basically a metal building, like a big shed. And they're in crates so that they have like airflow around them. But we've noticed the ones that are thinner, I may have mentioned this before, the ones that are thinner, I would say probably less than about 3 inches in diameter, those ones rot and get soft faster. So on those smaller ones, I constantly have to check those. So once I find that they're starting to get soft, or they'll get like a little white mold or fungus on them, then I throw those to the chickens. So I'd say probably once a week I go through them and just check them out. Now the ones that are like this big, like the size of my head, those ones don't have any issue whatsoever. Those ones, I think it's because of the mass, the size that they are, they don't fluctuate in temperature. It seems like the smaller ones, the ones that are under 3 inches, those ones have gotten cold and frozen, and then that's when that fungus starts affecting them. Anderson Homestead says you find the best things. We went hunting today, found nothing. I'm not sure what the best things are. Oh, I think he's talking about the potatoes. Yeah, we're constantly looking, like the Bible says, seek and you shall find. So we're constantly looking. That's how we're gonna find. So this is another thing that we grew. My daughter grew some marigolds and had some great success with that. We had a video that was actually called the first pumpkin of the year, and these pumpkin right here got massive. It calls them Connecticut field squash, and these definitely belong in the field. We had these in the market garden, and they took over the market garden.
David was so sad, guys. It was like I felt bad for him because his bed was right next to Caspian, and like just slowly started to take over. And then like at the end, I remember David's face. He was just like, I can't even do it with a straight face, but he was just like, his garden like took over my stuff. Like my stuff didn't grow, and he did get a very small harvest. But it's definitely a lot smaller than it would have been, but Caspian's garden like just took over those pumpkins. But Caspian was so proud of his little pumpkins. He's like, yes, my pumpkins like are doing fantastic and I'm a great gardener. And David's just like, thanks.
Yeah, so those pumpkins went like 3 or 4 rows over, and we actually had to start moving them back because they. Oh, Eric took off. Bye, Eric. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate
Bye,
it.
Eric.
So yeah, I would suggest if you're planting any kind of pumpkin or squash that you give them significant amount of space.
Yeah.
David had, like she said, David had some potatoes or tomatoes and onions in that area. They were basically about maybe 5 feet away from where he had those pumpkins, and it completely shaded out. But in observing that, the takeaway from that is if your plants get established, the plants that you want, all of these plants, if those plants get established, they have the upper hand on all the weeds, all the things that you don't want. So if that space is being filled with something, with something that you want, then you can cut out a lot of the competition from weeds and any other unwanted plants that are there. That's one thing that we're doing with the strawberries right now. We have some areas where we have bushes and we have some fruiting plants, trees and stuff, fig trees, mulberry trees. We've kind of put some little guilds in different areas, little patches of trees, and we're using the strawberries to combat the grass from encroaching into our grow areas with the strawberries as a ground cover.
And I'm actually surprised of how much the strawberries still have leaves. Like I thought it would have been frozen back a long time from now, but no. Like there's areas that it's still like all luscious, and Paul's like, it's fine. Like if the kids step on it or something, he's like, it's fine. So I noticed that it says William Conrad. For a minute there, I'm like, William and JD? But no, it's actually my father-in-law. So hello, Billy.
Hi, Dad. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you here. The Andersons asked, have y'all been thinking about what project you guys want us to help you with? So not at the moment. We're actually going to, once we get these plants this week, I think we're going to start measuring out and finding contour lines for our grow areas. And we may need some dirt work done for that. We could also have you guys hand dig out a pond, which is something we need to do. But that's kind of the next big projects that we're planning. Daniel asked, how do you keep the weeds out of the strawberries? The strawberries that we have, we don't have very many weeds in them. They're pretty well established. They send out so many runners that there's like strawberry plants every 2 to 3 inches. So they're just strawberries on top of strawberries.
They're definitely a very aggressive little strawberries.
Yeah, these ones are. They're a June-bearing variety, which means you kind of get one big flush of fruit, and then
Jerry Jason.
Yeah. Woohoo! Hand digging ponds. Oh my back. Yeah, it's not gonna be fun, but we'll see. Maybe we'll bring in an excavator for some of it.
So Bryce mentioned that he grows about 3 acres of pumpkin. That's quite a bit. So Bryce, what do you normally do with that much pumpkins? Connecticut field or typically grow?
Yeah, so that's actually the one that we had up there. That one, Connecticut field. Yeah, what are you doing with all those pumpkins? I'm assuming you're selling them. Where are you located there, Bryce? Daniel says I have some major weeds in his strawberries, I'm guessing.
Oh, pumpkins are great for feed. I didn't know that.
Yeah, actually, I plan on growing a surplus of pumpkins this year, mainly for the chickens. The nice thing about pumpkins is they store so well. Pigs love them. Chickens, cattle, goats. Yeah,
I didn't
I
know
could
that.
see that. Hey, you know what? Now that you mentioned the goats, I wonder if the sheep would eat it. Um, I haven't made a video of this. I've been meaning to, but I've been pruning some peach trees, and I take the cuttings of those peach trees and I throw them in with the sheep, and they chew off everything that's under like half an inch. These guys are going to town on these, which is kind of nice because I'll just throw it in there, and then they'll basically like limb them, or they'll take off all the small little branches, and then I just have the big woody stuff and I cut that up. So we kind of got a little system going with that, and then the sheep get some nutrition out of it. You know, there's a lot of minerals in that.
It's funny when they see him coming, though.
Yeah.
They see him coming with those branches, and they all like go to the fence, and they're like, "All right, send it all over."
You're right. Yeah.
That's how they are. So that's Daniel was saying that it's some say they are natural dewormers, so that's really neat.
Yeah, I've actually read that if you chew on roasted pumpkin seeds, the shells in there are actually good for your stomach as well. That they'll kill worms. They actually like stab the worms and cut them up, kind of like diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth.
Melanie wrote, "Peter can dig."
Yeah, that's the only thing we really got coming up, Melody. Bryce says, I grow for the markets, and we have a CSA, about 100 members. Wow.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty neat in northern Michigan. Well, that's pretty cool. So, Bryce, let me ask you: do you have a YouTube channel? And do you make content and share about those different things that you're growing? That would be cool to see. I'd be curious to see that.
I was chuckling at copperheads.
It'll get rid of your worms. Yeah. I like worms, but I don't want worms inside of me anyways. Girly girl, I got a thumbs up. I'm not sure what it's for. Back at you. Hey, my thumb has a little indent on it. I see that. Go on, my thumb. I was holding this right here. It's got an indent from holding that.
I'm getting the giggles. Sorry.
We grew these monsters. I think these things got like 18 inches wide.
Why?
Sunflowers. Yeah.
You know, I remember that when I don't remember if we were planting them or if we were opening the seeds, but you talked about how big they were going to be. And we're like, I wonder if they're really going to be that big. And I was surprised. Like, they were humongous.
They were big. Yeah, the stalk like came over, and it's like wilting under the weight of the sunflower head. It's just like, I can't take anymore. It's just dangling there.
How tall do you think the stalk ended up being?
The stalk was probably about, if it could stand on end, it was probably close to 10 feet tall. But then when it was bent over, it was probably closer to 7.5 or 8 feet tall. And I didn't bring it in, but I showed you the marigolds. Part of the title that I made was the Green Bay. How did I word it? Oh no, the Tampa Bay Bucketeers. So I wanted to show you guys this. This is a collection of marigold flowers. There was so many that I couldn't put them in a bag, and I didn't want to go through the hassle of like pulling every single one of these out. But if you guys don't know, inside of them, I'll show you guys this. I'll do this on camera. You got the bucket?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so here's a dried up marigold, right? You see that? Dried up marigold flower. Inside of that, if you just pull on the, this thingy dingy off, all that's full of seeds. So every one of those little black long specks is a seed. So you can go and plant those over and over again. And we got a whole half bucket full of them. There's also in here, there's the bottom half of it has these Mexican sunflowers. And they have, see, these were actually kind of wet at the time. You probably can't see this, but let me grab another one. At the time that we took these out, actually, can you hold it right here? At the time that we took them out, I'm gonna be dropping these things all over the laptop screen. At the time we harvested them, they were still kind of wet, so they wouldn't come apart fast enough. Oh, sorry. But inside of here, there's these little sunflowers.
Are those the ones the neighbors gave us?
Yeah, my neighbor actually gave me these. So here's, this isn't working very good. Here's the seed. It's just a little old thing. These aren't, where's my camera? Okay. These aren't really made to eat. Like, they don't have a meat inside of them. The birds will come and find these, but they draw a huge amount of pollinators. There was bumblebees and tons of butterflies. I would say it was hard to go out there and not find, 20 or 30 of those orange butterflies all over those flowers. If you're not familiar with Mexican sunflowers, take a look at them. They do get big, and those sunflowers, those Mexican sunflowers, they'll just continue to reseed themselves. So in that area, we'll probably have a bunch of volunteers or plants that we didn't intend to have, like intentionally plant, come up this year. But the reason that we collected them was so that we can move them to other locations. So like when we pick up, one of the plans is when we pick up all these plants this week, is those become like the base parent plants to propagate from for other plants that we can put on the property. So if we buy, for example, like a raspberry, then from that raspberry, we can buy one or two of them. We can take, and then we can propagate from that, whether we take the seeds of that or we take cuttings off of that and reroot those. A lot of times raspberries will, they'll send out little runner plants underground, and then they'll come up a couple inches, couple feet away.
So Jason mentioned about the sunflower, to get away from those. It's true. Actually, Paul is 6'4", and the sunflowers were like way above him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm walking, and I could see it. Like you can't see a whole lot when everything's all lush and green. But I'm like, look at that sunflower, and it's like up there.
Yeah, they were neat.
Yeah,
they look like mutant sunflowers.
I almost felt like Alice in Wonderland when I would go in there. I'm like, oh my goodness, these flowers are, you're going to start singing pretty soon here. So Bryce wrote that where did it go?
His wife is a teacher. And
so he's a one-man operation. So he doesn't really have a whole lot of time to set up video. And I can relate to that.
Well, that's a bummer.
It is difficult to set up the camera and record, especially yourself.
Yeah. That's definitely understandable. And there's a lot of content that we would like to put out, and for that same reason, it's just
not recorded.
A lot of times, it just really slows down your progress. So for any of you guys, which a lot of you in here make content, that it can be a hassle. And at some point you just say, is this really worth it? And you say, forget the camera. Let's just get this done.
So Daniel mentioned that marigolds are really good for deterring pests.
Mhm. Yeah, that's one of the reasons we planted them as well, is for the pests, to keep the pests out. I think there's an odor that they provide. They're supposed to be very good for deterring mosquitoes as well. Anna said, Bryce, I do elder boxes. 10 for a big box, big enough for 1 or 2 people. 10 last year, 28 this year. No advertising, just by word of mouth. That's awesome, man.
Wow, that is really
That's
good.
pretty neat. So she's building up a customer base, and we hope to do that too once we get established. The goal is to grow enough and have a little extra to be able to sell.
We did have some pretty neat experiences. We had a couple people just stop by and be like, I want to buy chicken from you. We were like, really? Like, no advertisement. They just stopped by.
Yeah.
And
They saw the chickens and the chicken tractors out there. And
we had a couple people mention too that they were surprised of how big the chicken tractors actually are, because you see them, especially from the road. You have neighbors driving by and it looks like this little condensed squashed area, and they're like, oh, these chickens are there. And then we had a couple people be like, oh my goodness, it's really big in there and the chickens are really healthy.
mm-hmm.
So people were surprised that how well they were doing.
Yeah, it's a good environment for them. So William Conrad, my dad, asked, could the sunflower supply protein for the chickens? Yeah, definitely. And we plan to do that. We plan to grow some out. I could actually run and get some of the heads. Keep these people occupied.
No.
Keep in mind, we only have about 5 minutes left. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mentioned to Paul, like, we have to stick under the 1 hour. Let me see what else we have here. So I'm seeing a few other ones that Paul can actually answer when he gets back. So Bryce is mentioning their members, and that's really neat. Oh, wow.
So here's a crate of sunflower heads. Oh, that one doesn't look good. Hold on a second. So these are actually, a lot of these don't look very. Oh, here's a good one right here. And they're falling all over the floor. When we put these in here, they weren't dried out yet. So here's one of the Mongolian ones. They kind of shrunk up a little bit. But we save the seeds like this sometimes. We just cut the heads off and then put them in a place where they're, they get plenty of air on them. And then we can take these seeds and you can, I don't know if you can hear them falling to the floor. But here's the meat inside of the seed. But yeah, these can definitely be chicken feed. So we plan on growing more of them.
Maybe some of those ugly ones can go.
Yeah,
today.
now that I see them. Some of these have a little bit of mold on them. Oh, here's a good one. This is actually a striped sunflower right here. And this one, I got this seed from Whole Foods. When we were up in Louisville, I got that from Whole Foods, and
all I can say is vas a ver.
My wife has a thing about getting the floor dirty, and if you could see the floor right now, let me see if I can.
No.
Here's what the floor looks like. I'm gonna drop us everywhere. Can you see the floor?
Yeah, you can see bits and pieces.
There's what the floor looks like. We made a mess of the place.
Like I said, vas a ver. Oh, you did something over there. I can't see the comments. And we are actually about an hour, my love.
Okay. So we're going to wrap this up in a couple minutes. So the sunflower seeds for that particular striped sunflower, this one right here, we got those seeds from Whole Foods. So as long as the seed is organic, or it's not a modified, most of the time when you're buying it as produce, it'll say organic, non-GMO. And then you can just take that seed and start a plant. And if you're planting and buying a whole bunch of them, a lot of times it's a lot cheaper to buy it as food. Like we bought a bunch of turmeric, we bought a bunch of ginger that was organic as food, and then we plant it.
So Jason wanted to know if they would grow back in our zone.
I think he's talking about the Mexican sunflower. I don't think they'll grow back from the plant, like the roots will die off, but they'll reseed themselves in that area. Our neighbor has so many in one area that she doesn't have to like save the seeds. They just come back from seed on their own.
It was actually really cute because when I was talking to her, she had given it to us and she didn't know whether or not we planted them, because she gave them to me and then I gave them to Paul and be like, I don't know where you want to plant this. Here, be free. And so he planted them, and she had asked me, like, did you plant them? And I'm like, I'm not sure, because I explained to her that I gave them to Paul. And then when they started to finally grow, and she's driving home one day and then she sees this giant bush. And she said that it just made her so happy as she's driving by. She's like, I gave them that Mexican sunflower and they planted it and it's doing really well. And so that was really neat.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who won the football game. The football game is probably over by now. But we wanted to come on here and encourage you guys to grow and share a little bit of knowledge with you guys and get some some feedback from you guys.
Yeah, I enjoyed I have coffee.
That does got to me. Let me have a little sip of your coffee.
We enjoyed a lot of your guys' comments. Well, we enjoyed everyone's comment that commented. We really enjoyed it. And yeah, it was fun. And time went by really fast this time. Usually, like, I look up and it's like every quarter I look up and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's already time. So
it goes by fast when you're having fun.
Yeah.
So before we check out, we want to make sure that we thank you guys for supporting our channel. We really do appreciate it. We're coming up to 400 subscribers. So not that we're completely into stats, but it is neat to see our channel grow. And we know a lot of that is because of our supporters, because you guys are sharing our content with others. If you get a chance, one thing that you could really do to help us out is hit that like button before you leave. That really helps us out. The more likes we get, the more YouTube says that other people might like it. So that helps us out. Another thing that we're seeing is that more of our subscribers are watching, or let me put it this way, more of our content, our watch hours is getting is coming from our subscribers. So that's you guys. That's those of you who are subscribed to our channel. You know, before I would say it was probably about 80% of our content was being viewed by non-subscribers. So more and more of our content is people coming back, which means that they like what they're seeing, they're subscribing, they get a notification, they say, oh, let's see what they're up to, and then they're watching the videos. So we really appreciate our subscribers who continue to support us, each and every one of you. We thank you. And until we see you next time, God bless you. God bless your families. And take care.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.